you imagine yourself charging into Xenos filth or conquering the galaxy for the greater good? So do we. Join us as we chat all things tabletop without taking any of it too seriously. Welcome to Third Space Tabletop Talks.
Hi guys, and welcome to Third Space Tabletop Talks. It's our second episode. We've made it to our actual second episode, which is amazing as it is. And in doing so, we've gained an extra person with us. So to start, I'll introduce I am Steve from When I Can Hobby, and going round. Seb, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
You've done it for me, but thank you. I'm Seb from Let's Geek It Out.
I'm Ben from the Jedi Archives.
And I'm Josh. I hang around at the Jedi Archives and talk to these guys.
So all of us we are Third Space is there's four of us now, isn't it? So, but yeah, it started with three of us, which was Ben, Josh, and I, and Seb joined along with us. But yeah, this is all of us, and we are the Tabletop Talks podcast. Where I'll be honest, we still haven't got a clue what we do apart from talk about models and laugh at each other, really. So, obviously, from following the kind of format from the last one, we go into news in the Warhammer world. And I'll be honest with you, I actually haven't seen much new going on. Have you guys?
No, I think it's a quiet weekend this week for new releases. Nothing massive coming out. There's a lot of, I think, is it the
Gloomspite Git.
Gloomspite,
yeah, they're coming out in their individual boxes, and that's kind of it. And then we've got the Kill Team Blood and Zeal probably next weekend, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Kill Team set.
No, that Kill Team set, to be fair, I saw that, and going back to getting into the hobby, Gaunt's Ghost for me, all of the priests and stuff, there's a couple of characters in there I want to pull out and to put into a Gaunt's Ghost inspired team. I forget his name. Ayatani. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyhow, I love the models, the new set, and also the other thing as well, which is nice, is the new White Dwarf is coming out. It's actually got 30 pages in it, which is dedicated to Mesbeg, Middle-earth battle strategy game. So it's nice to see some love coming back that way. I was just on the other podcast yesterday with Chris.
Do you reckon we'll get some new Warriors of Minas Tirith 25 years later?
we need to. The thing is, like, the Rohan sculpts they've done are amazing.
They look good. Yeah, they look
the
really
tribesman sculpts, but it's like they've done Rohan sculpts, but they've still got the old horses. And it's just like, the men are as tall as the horses, like, so it's just, it's I think I was on the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast with Chris last night, and we're talking about it. I think what's going to be nice, I think, if I'm guessing Games Workshop, how like they slowly brought Blood Bowl back up, with a team every so often, and they built it up. And the same with Necromunda. It took years for them to build it to where it is now. Hopefully they're going to be following the same kind of vein with Middle-earth battle strategy games and just reintroduce them, because it's a great game. It's such an easy game. There's not massive changes in the new rules. It's the easiest game to learn to play. It was my gateway drug back into the hobby, so I just hope it works.
I mean, it was the first one I played going back 20 years ago. It was my first sort of, apart from the old Space Marine I had, that was the first big one I got into.
Yeah,
I went hard into it with my 12-year-old pocket money.
Do we know whether Games Workshop have a license kind of forever to keep making this stuff? Because I must admit, I assumed for a while that it expired and that they weren't allowed to make any more, which is why nothing happened with it for so long. But obviously they've started doing some stuff again recently. My understanding was it was like a license with New Line Cinema, but I don't know if that was for sort of a limited time after the films come out. It'd be interesting to see whether they can kind of just keep it going.
I mean, it might be why they've not done a lot else then, if the agreement's only with New Line Cinema, because all of the new models are based on the animated film.
I was going to say, do you think if it's like a refresh, as you say, all the new stuff, like they might do something for the Rings of Power. If more people click onto that, it might just be, because they haven't refreshed any of your hero characters, have they?
No, they did. They did the Witch King, Aomer, as part of the Battle Host boxes.
Right, okay.
And then dusted off the molds from 25 years ago and reproduced some more. Actually, they probably didn't even need the molds. They just opened up the boxes that weren't selling and put in the bigger one.
And just increase the price of the same plastic. But I
found a box of Uruk-hai from way back when, and it was £12 for like a box of, I think they were 20. Yeah. I remember back then, like looking at do you remember they used to letter the boxes?
Yes.
Josh, I think, did you tell me what D was worth? It was like £3 or something like that.
Like 3 inches.
Yeah. When I first went into a Games Workshop, they used to have the letters on the wall, but the letters used to relate to like the blister packs. So you used to get the plastic like core units for like Warhammer Fantasy back then, but the metal boxes, blister packs, they used to have in a big kind of rack on the wall. And I'm pretty sure that C was £3, and that might have been the cheapest one when I started, but it was obviously cheaper than that at one point.
I remember going with like a lot of the armies that I had were like Easterlings and Dwarves, which were largely only made in metal. I remember at the time thinking like, God, £4 is a lot for 3 minis.
Yeah.
And then paying now sort of like £25 for that same one that someone's kept. You know, well, I do really want that metal one.
Yeah.
when I first started playing, I played Warhammer Fantasy, and certain units. So quite often the core units that you would get back in Warhammer Fantasy would be in a plastic regiment box, so you could just buy that and it'd be £15. But yeah, distinctly remember as a kid just being like, any of the special units or rare units, if it was, you know, a regiment of guys, then you'd need to have at least 10 of them, and they'd come in a blister pack and it'd be like £6 for 2, and I'd be like, well, guess I'm never having a unit of them.
No, I remember as 40k. I remember the stormtroopers, the 40k stormtroopers, and you'd like, you know, it's the same kind of thing. You get 3 or 4 of them. It was 6. It was that like, you know, I remember. It's just silly little things. I used to remember at the store, like, you know, when someone's got me, you're like, God, you're a big spender. Like, you know, you've got some money to spend. Like, you know. Yeah. I remember my first. I remember the Catachan 40k. You could get 20 men, and there was 15 quid for 20 men, plastic men. And I was just like, you know, even that was like, oh God, that's expensive. But like,
I remember it. It shows you how much it's changed since then, because obviously, like, this was all before GW started stocking independents, having independent stockists.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having to go onto the GW website. I mean, I don't know if you remember what that was bad then. Like, let alone now, that was pretty awful. But you'd have to order it by the Monday in order to make sure that your thing was there by the Saturday, and you could only really go and pick it up in store. And I've still got some of the boxes that are like Ben Rivers GW pool, you know, where it's been sent into store. I was like, oh my God, that was mad. Like ordering.
Well, they had the phone line as well. You could call on. I never did, obviously, because I was too young. But it was the phone line, and you had. I remember the Citadel catalog, like, you know, and you could pick like, oh, I want that plasma arm, and I want that, you know, and all those bits and pieces. And I remember being a child, you know, knowing those catalogs back to front. You know,
they had forums as well, like the actual forums that GW staff were on.
Yeah,
I remember being able to order individual bits for the different models back when they used to stock all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, these days, I guess it's produced in such quantities that when you call them up and say, I've got one of the tiniest components in the whole box missing, they just go, oh, here's a whole new box. We can't be bothered to break them down and keep the bits separate anymore.
That's mad. Is it better times? Is it better times now, or is it better times then? I don't know. It's just, you know, there's nicer models.
I think we said it before. I think the whole time they're putting the profits back into bringing out cool new stuff. I think it's good because we're all getting new bits. That's cool. The whole time that's happening, I'm all for it.
I think being new to the hobby now is probably a better experience, because certainly back then, you know, I was a child, and basically, as I say, half of these units, half of these units, when I was a kid,
you heard it here first.
Yeah,
was a child.
At one point, yeah. When I first got into this, basically it meant about half of the army you couldn't really build it yourself. You know, a 10-year-old trying to build Nazgul on Fellbeast or the Balrog for the Lord of the Rings, they were the best things for gluing your hands together in the world. They're an absolute nightmare to try and build.
I'm glad you said about glue now. I remember getting a metal dreadnought and my fingers literally been stuck to it, and going to my mum holding a dreadnought, like my fingers, like, you know, and my mum just being Irish, was just like, just rip them off. I'm like, oh. But yeah.
I remember trying to glue metal figures with plastic glue and just being incredibly frustrated that they weren't gluing.
That happened last week.
Holding it together for hours.
I don't think I've got any metal figures. I actually know I've got one or two in my bolt action box. I've got one or two metal models, but you just don't really see them these days at all, do you?
I have a metal model literally just on my desk at the moment. I was randomly decided to start painting up one of the old Grey Knights, and he's absolutely tiny compared to one of the modern ones. He's smaller than a Sister of Battle. You get a regular Sister of Battle now to stand next to him, and he looks, absolutely tiny.
I've still got loads of the Lord of the Rings metal stuff, and I love it. It's so good.
No, it's
yeah.
Also, it's just nice. Some models, it was just nice feeling the weight of them. I but you're there. But how many times does it happen when you precariously place a model and it falls and then the arm falls off and you're like, oh, for God's sake.
And can you imagine turning up now and being like, oh, yeah, I've got... imagine a guard army, 2,000-point guard army made of metal. You'd need a trailer to move it around.
You need a set of pallet trucks.
Yeah.
I used to play Orcs and Goblins, and the giant model from Orcs and Goblins was basically a deadly weapon. If you accidentally knocked that off the tabletop, you were liable to kill somebody if it landed on them.
Break a toe.
They used to have something in the game where giants could fall over, and there was like a fallen giant template which would just crush things that it landed on. And you didn't need one of them in real life, I tell you. That landed on your foot and you knew about it.
So, well, that's catching up with what's going on in the Warhammer world. What's happening in your hobby worlds, guys? So, what have you guys been up to? Seb?
So, I have actually started on my Custodes. Pretty much. Thank you. So, the first unit of Custodian Guard is complete, and the rest of the Combat Patrol is doing pretty well at most.
When you say complete, do you mean built?
No, it's painted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And by Combat Patrol, that is like 2 custodians in the Combat Patrol. Right?
I actually think it's about 10, 11 models. And I don't. To be honest, I've had quite a bit of hobby block recently. I just haven't been able to motivate myself to do it at all. But I think now I've actually got some paint on the guys, and they actually look quite good. I'm kind of getting there now, actually getting back in, and I'm kind of just next few weeks just locking in, making sure the Combat Patrol's done, and then once that's done, I've got the other half of the army, which is another 10 models, and then it's done. 2k points, just like that.
Cheat. No. And how about you guys, Ben? What you been up to?
Well, I started this time. Well, probably on the last podcast, we were just exploring Aeronautica Imperialis. Got very excited over that, and then I just got a little whiff of Sigmar.
Oh yeah!
And then,
hell yeah!
Just rapidly went downhill.
So
I've been working through some Aeronautica stuff. So I've got a load of Eldar, painted up a few Eldar stuff that at first I didn't like the paint scheme, and then I kind of did a little bit to it, and I was like, okay, no, I quite like that now. And then I accidentally picked up some Imperial Navy for Aeronautica, just it fell into the eBay basket.
Whoopsie!
Because they look like World War II planes. So I'm like, oh, they look really fun to paint, so I'll get a couple of those. And then everything else just seemed like an absolute bargain. So then I got a bit of Tau, and it
do you know what the most upsetting thing about it is? It's like, every time I try to find something on eBay, because I've been doing the Aeronautica as well for the last week, and it's just like I see it, and then suddenly like Ben's like, oh, look what I got. I'm like, fuck's sake, I was looking at that. I didn't even get to look at it. Ben's just like, bye.
As long as you're not bidding each other up for these things.
I kid you.
We do communicate that, don't we? Like, by the way, I put a bid on this. Don't touch it.
Yeah. I got Ben some dice I did, and I found him some of the elder dice. I said, Ben, I'm bidding on this. Do not bid on this. Like,
to be a fucker coming at the last minute. 1p.
Yeah. And Josh, yourself, what have you been working on?
So, as you guys have, I've picked up some Aeronautica Imperialis stuff. I haven't done a great deal with it yet, although I managed to get a fairly decent eBay deal. So I've primed them and just spent the day going. And other than that, I popped to Warhammer Tottenham Court Road the other day, and picked up.
What?
Bloody hell! What is that?
What is that?
That is the Warlord Titan.
Oh my god!
So yeah, I ended up grabbing that. I've been after one for a long time, and had not ever got round to it. I also picked up, because they sell the beta pattern head, which you can normally only get in Warhammer World, but Tottenham Court Road also sells it. So I was just like, well, yep, I'll get that as well. So yeah,
Josh texted me on the Saturday and was like, I've just dropped a load of dollar in Warhammer World. I was like, oh, no worries. Oh, by the way, that set of Aeronauticas arrived. If you want to go halvesies on it, it was like 30 quid for the rulebook and the orcs. And Josh's response was, I might have to let the sting of the Warlord Titan die down. I was like, no, you can't wobble over £30 after just dropping over £1,000.
Oh my god!
No.
But for context, for people who don't know, Josh, is it a Reaver Titan you got? Is it as well, fully painted or?
I've got one of each now. So
Wow.
Yeah. So,
one of each. You can buy a few cars with that.
I've got
real cars, not model ones.
The Reaver over here looking at me in pieces. So here's.
My god. Josh is living the dreams all of us have, so I think he's got the most forgiving partner, if I came home with, or even if that sort of money disappeared from the bank account, I don't even think I'd get the sofa. I'd be in the garden in his hand,
fleeing the country in fear of his life.
Yeah,
with his Titan.
Living out of the box that you bought.
Oh, so no. The only other thing happening for me as well to touch in. So doing the Aeronautica Imperialis, got those. I've got a whole load of Imperial Navy, but I'm actually in a Blood Bowl tournament this Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm going into a Blood Bowl tournament next Saturday, so looking forward to it. So it's actually a local.
Are you taking the biscuits?
I'm taking the Biscuit Boys. I'm taking my Biscuit Boys. So I'm looking forward to getting them out and playing with them again. So it should be good fun. So yeah, apart from that, I need to paint something. I need to get something painted.
I think one of my things is...
Do viewers have the context of the Biscuit Boys? I feel as though we need to throw an image on screen up. Otherwise, people are just going to be like, he's going to a Blood Bowl tournament to eat some biscuits.
So, yeah, well, for those who don't know, so if you've not listened or you don't follow me, what I have is I've got a human Blood Bowl team, and I've modelled little biscuits on the back of them. So I've got pink wafers, I've got hobnobs, party rings and all this, and they're all different colours, all coloured the same colour as the packaging, and I won a favourite team award at the Bugman's Belt up at Warhammer World. So people liked my Biscuit Boys, and they're on my profile. Have a look, and I love them. I'm actually the most I like almost as proud as having my children is how proud I am of them. It's like here are my children and my Biscuit Boys.
I was going to say when you said that you got the award for that, I did think to myself, I thought, I know how happy you're going to be that you won an award for those, because I remember when you started them and you were telling me about them, and I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of work. But then when you sent sort them on the turntable, I was like, oh, that looks fantastic, a lot of work, but obviously definitely worth it.
No, I was well over the moon. So yeah, I'm taking them out for second outing for them. Hopefully win another game is the plan, if I can. The second date.
Well, Rue was having her breakfast this morning, and my Chaos Lord was on the table. I was quite proud of it, so I was like, Rue, look what Daddy painted. She looked at it and she went, "It's really good, Daddy. Well done." Thanks. And she's like,
"Cheers.
It's really good." And I'm like, "Do you like it?" She's like,
"Yeah, it's not a unicorn, so take it or leave it. Do better."
Look at it. She just goes.
Yeah. So on to the main topic of tonight. So big thing is we've got Josh who's come and joined us. and Josh he's listened to our first podcast, and he said, like, guys, we need to make some improvements here. We need to be answering the questions that the people need to be that want to be answered, like, you know. And I feel the only way I can do this is just hand that over to Josh. Like, you know, Josh, you've got one of the most burning questions that I feel like we need to get to the bottom of tonight. So over to you.
Yeah, thanks for the intro there. I mean, there are big questions that plague us in these times of uncertainty. You know, we politically, economically, as a society, we're in a very, very difficult place. Potentially transition to a new world order, and really,
for sure.
Who knows what's round the corner, right? Especially a weekend away with your significant other, except your babysitter that you had planned months ago has just pulled out, and instead you've now got to decide on one of the battle line units from Age of Sigmar to look after the kids. So I figured we'd create a tier list of, you know, which battle line unit would you like the most or least to look after your kids if you were on a weekend away.
These are the questions you want answered.
Right,
if they're looking after me, it's Daughters of Cain.
It's looking after your children. Are you? So you're gonna bring it up on the screen there, Josh? Are you?
I will do. Let me just make sure that it'll work. Let's see. So if I share this.
Yes.
You guys able to see this? Okay, right. On the right-hand side here, we've got our tier list. I'm sure most people know how a tier list works. The images for them were in teeny weeny eye straino vision, so I thought I would put a blown-up version of them on the left-hand side so we can have a quick convo about them, and then we can put them in their rightful place on the tier list. So I think that these are in alphabetical order, although I caveat this with saying I threw this together very last minute, so I apologise to anybody in advance if your favourite units aren't included. Flame us in the comments and we'll do better next time and add some more stuff in, maybe.
Just put it in the comments and then we'll message GW and say, improve your website.
Yeah. I got to give it. Josh literally came up with the idea, and we're like, we're going to do that, and he threw this together so quickly, just as we were going on. So,
okay, so I guess I'm happy to open the floor here. I mean, you guys will know these units, but I guess if we read them out, so these are the blood letters from. I guess I don't know if they're still part of the Blades of Khorne or not. It's been a little while since I played Age of Sigmar, but you know the Khorne demons. What do we reckon in terms of their child rearing capabilities?
Probably D.
I think anything chaos has got to be can't get more than a B, surely.
A B, I'd say more than a D.
I mean, these guys are giving me some real cat in the hat vibes.
I think you overestimate the quality of babysitters that are available.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how we determine what is an S versus what is a D in this order, right? Because let's face it, we're not going to find the dream babysitters as part of any of these lists. So, best of a bad bunch, or
so D is the equivalent to being on the register. B would be is going to invite their boyfriend round and start smoking and drinking, and S is you'll come back and the house is tidy,
kids are asleep,
children have been asleep, they've had a bedtime story, dog's been walked, they've done the food shop.
I imagine with these guys, personally, I would say D. You would turn up. You'd leave them with your kids, and by the time you come back, the house would be lit. The house would literally be on fire.
Have we got limited spaces for each section?
No, I don't think so. I think it can expand.
If we fill up D with the fairly tame ones, and then all of a sudden we're putting like Chaos Knights in S because we've got no other space.
I mean, as far as these things go, Chaos Knights might not be the worst of choices.
Oh, dear.
What do we reckon then?
I'm saying I'm going to say C.
I think C. I think that might be worse.
There could always be worse. Okay, here we go. So next up in our list, we've got the Skaven Clan Rats.
My personal favourite.
Just from a hygiene point of view, they've got to be a D, surely.
I mean, you're going to get back and your kids are going to have the bubonic plague, aren't they, I think?
Yeah.
I think
So with the bloodletters, at least if the house is burnt down, you probably won't burn down with it. But with the plague, we're all getting it.
You'll come back and all of your kids will have turned into like master molders or brood terrors, like
or Shredder from the Turtles.
I mean, Shredder from the Turtles not too bad. These guys are just. Oh no! I mean, the house is going to be covered in fleas. Like, the sofa you would never be able to sit on again. These guys would be eating you out of house and home. Nor the table legs off. Like, these guys are D all the way. Like,
All right. So you've heard it here first, folks. It's officially better to have a horde of bloodletters look after your children than giant rats. Okay, so next we've got Demonettes of Slaanesh.
So I'm gonna just preface this with, it depends what kind of night out you're having, So what you're coming back in and what state you are, because these could go up tops here more for the after babysitting activities. I think
probably not with those pincers though. Those pincers are going to cause issues.
I think you'd be better off them coming on the night out with you.
I'm tempted to agree with that.
I don't think they're a very child-friendly team, but you'd have a great night out with them.
I'm not sure how well they'd be equipped to look after your kids with exclusively those crab claws. I feel go to tuck the kids in, decapitated. Go to
just a flesh wound. Got no leg.
He didn't have one when you gave him to me.
Yeah.
It's like that when I got here.
I mean, the thing is like, but they're not going to burn the house. I mean, I'm thinking like, they're going to struggle with the claws and stuff, but no more than the bloodletters. That I'm thinking.
I mean, if bloodletters are the benchmark, I don't think we can put them above the bloodletters.
I don't think
just below.
And they're slightly hedonistic. They might end up sacrificing them.
I feel like they would be really naff. Like I just feel like they wouldn't be great. Like they wouldn't be. We're not talking like.
I mean, Seb, I don't think any of them are going to be that. I hate to break it to
you. They're not going to give your children the bubonic plague, but I just think they'll be shit.
Yeah,
I don't think we can. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not quite as good at looking after your kids as some bloodletters would be. Okay, so next we've got the crypt ghouls from the Flesh Eater Courts. What a name that is to start with.
I mean, anything flesh eatery, I'm going to struggle to get
D?
above a D. Yeah.
Can we put a minus D in there?
I mean, it might be possible to add some extra. Can we add extras? I think we probably can. I don't know where the options are. Maybe in here. I don't even know. I've not used this enough to be proficient with it.
If not, I think
we've set ourselves up for a fall already, haven't we?
Yeah.
If not strongly D tier, as Ben said, anything that's a Flesh Eater Courts probably aren't going to win Babysitter of the Year award.
I mean, this one's got somebody's child mounted to him already.
And that's someone, they obviously didn't listen to this part of the podcast and have carried on babysitting anyway.
I thought they are bottom D tier.
Yeah. He's brought the victims of his last job along with him this time. Okay.
I've got a testimonial on my back.
But number 14 said I was great.
I thought they moved out a week ago.
So next, we've got the Free Guild Fusiliers, and I think the caveat we have to say with these is they will be coming round fully armed and armoured.
I mean, they're ready for explosive diarrhea, vomiting, anything else that's going on. They're armed and armoured.
I'm actually tempted to put these guys in A.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hear me out. I feel like they would do the right things, but some of them would die by accidental discharge of weapons.
You just got little. Yeah.
This guy's got the nappy slung over his shoulder already.
Like they'd work hard, but 2 out of 3 would die.
I think as well.
just by accident.
You've got to think about it. They would, out of all the forces here, they would morally have the right approach. Well,
they wouldn't be actively trying to eat them. I think,
exactly.
Yeah.
They can be held to a higher standard than the others we've looked at so far.
I mean, I don't know if their hygiene standards that high, but they're human.
But they're humans, so they're meant to be the good guys, so they're going to know what they're supposed to do, so they're going to give it their best shot, even if, as Ben says, there is some weaponry that might go off.
Yeah,
A tier, we're happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so next we've got the Fire Slayers.
Now these guys, look, they're dwarves. They know how to sing songs. I'm actually thinking that myself. I think they're right up there. They'll be singing the songs. There'll be little tipple, to make sure the babies go to sleep on time. But that's my take on it. I think that they're actually pretty good babysitters.
I feel as though these guys would be kind of warm and cozy and quite friendly, but I'd be concerned. I'd be like, can you just put some more clothes on before I leave?
Before going in there.
The hairy middle-aged small men around the children is probably. I mean, I'd take the cannon-wielding Fusiliers at this point.
I'm still good. Yeah, I think they sing songs. They're short, so they're down to height. Yeah, maybe they need.
I don't. These guys don't look like Lord of the Rings dwarves that are sort of like jolly. This isn't like Bilbo Baggins and his 13 dwarf mates or whatever coming around for a drink.
He's half axe and
he's half naked with an angry second dwarf on his loincloth.
I think he's literally got runes carved into his flesh as well, to be fair.
That's when your kids are just running up with 9-volt batteries and sticking them against all the metal rooms.
And how patient are they going to be when they don't go to bed on time? All that stuff. A B. I mean, I'd take them over bloodletters.
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you have B on that.
If it's a choice,
high B.
Yeah. Well, we'll rank them within their category. So the further on the left they are of this, the higher they are within that particular category. So yeah,
okay.
Flesh Eaters right at the bottom of this tier at the moment, where they'll probably remain. Right. Okay. So next we've got some grot shooters.
See, I
all day long.
I've had a thought about this one. I think they'd be up there. Now, I think you've got to bear in mind they literally worship a moon god, for starters. So that's a pretty good insight. I think in terms of their looking after children capabilities, they might not be fantastic, but I do feel like the kids would probably have a good laugh.
Would they be having a good laugh because these guys have bought some class A shroom based narcotics with them?
They're just flying. These guys, they're just fucking flying around the room, bouncing off the walls. It might be a mess, and the house won't be perfect at the end. But the kids will have a good time, and when the time is right, they'll go, "Hang on, we worship the moon god here. Let's get them off to bed."
I mean, the moon god is a good point. Yeah,
that seems like a strong argument for a B.
I'm saying high A.
Strong.
But
they are still goblins.
Yeah,
yeah, true.
I think I'd be leaving them with the dwarves ahead of these guys, if I'm honest.
Okay, we'll go B.
Reckon we chuck them in there. Right, let's see who we got next then. Next we've got the Cruel Boys Gut Rippers.
Could you imagine him just turning up at your doors like, "I'll come here to babysit the kids," it's like his face and the helmet,
I don't think you can say anything else but D. If the names Gut Rippers aren't bad enough, they originate from swamps, so their personal hygiene is going to be absolutely appalling. There's no benefits here it's not like there's no benefits here of them babysitting your kids. I can't see how you could put them higher than the.
I'd even be tempted to take Skaven over them.
So you reckon somewhere? I think you can. Can you reorder them within it after you've placed them? Oh, I don't know if you can.
That's all right. We know flesh eaters are still bottom
they're still crap. Okay, so what we got next? Next we've got the Bliss Barb archers from the Hedonites of Slanesh.
I mean, they
kind of look. I mean, he looks troubled, but
Yeah, there's the babies in that cauldron.
oh yeah, there is. Yeah, I was misled by the scantily clad.
yeah, they're one of those ones that becomes more troubling the longer you look at them. I think
Yeah,
it's that cursory look of being like, oh, these guys look fine, and then you realise that there's some sort of demonic possession like bursting out of them.
I feel like this is a prime example of the babysitter that the dad chooses.
I didn't see that on the head. She says, yes, Graham, because you're too busy looking at the chest.
Oh, that's
so
but that-
what we
that's
said,
a really
what we said,
hard one, I don't
A
know.
tops.
I say B.
Yeah, I reckon B as well.
Ben's like A tops. Like no, they look like at least double C's at least. They're like.
Oh, fucking hell. No, I think we're looking high B. Maybe.
I mean, the demonic possession,
A.
I think, has got to be a C. What's the?
Oh,
Or I mean, the
we'll
demon
say
ender
low
of
B
C.
then.
No, I'd say B because they got hands, not claws.
Okay, yeah, right,
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Physically
Sounds a bit-
capable. If
sounds a
not-
bit. Yeah, it sounds a bit prejudiced against claw-handed, folk. But,
yeah.
We're going to have angry comments typed out by the crab people.
You won't be able to understand the comments, but they'll be there.
Oh, that's another crab.
Okay, so next we've got the Hobgrot Slitters.
Oh my god.
I mean,
that, straight to
they're
the
also
bottom.
deep.
Yeah.
They're not as bad as your standard.
I don't want to try and judge people by their name, but
I feel like these guys wouldn't even be able to turn up on time without maiming themselves. Like, just look at them. Like,
This guy's
You
lost a
would-
hand on his way over.
You wouldn't hear the doorbell ring. You just hear a stampede, and then they'll just kind of hit into the door and all fly through. Where are the kids? And like, yeah, no thanks. Off you go. Where's the spawn?
Straight down into D.
Actually, I think that applies to the next one as well.
Yeah, you've seen the miniature sneak peek of these boys.
Yeah. Where are the kids?
The Iron
Who's the
Jaws
babysit?
brutes. I mean,
Oh.
especially if he's turning up with the decapitated head. It's not...
Bleak title, this is you.
No, go out, have a good night. Oh man.
Oh.
but then if your kids had a bit of attitude, they probably respect them.
Yeah, I think they're childlike enough, aren't they? If you watched it's like Warhammer
This
TV
is a
Plus.
hot take.
No, and you
This
got
is a hot take.
yeah. I don't know. Like I think yeah. Bear in mind if you go, the orcs are Cockney orcs, like we all know them to be, like
Yeah.
If you're like I think they're not. I think they're C's. Like
I'd take a mid C, I think, for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a group for a little, some Iron Jaws.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. So after our Iron Jaws, we've got some Caradron Arcanauts. Who I find quite difficult to assess personally because they're all pretty secretive. All wearing their masks and
I
everything.
think they'd be good.
Yeah, I feel as though they probably would be good, although it'd be difficult to trust them, I think.
I
Then
think
again,
the
who
only
can you trust here apart from the Fusiliers?
I think the only problem you have with these guys is like they just decided to go off on an adventure. Like you won't see the kids for 2 years. They come back like singing sea shanties.
There's
or
a tunnel dug through the bottom of the house.
Yeah.
They-
They've just started mining.
the kids get to bed, but are then woken up by the sounds of hi ho.
These guys are the opposite. There would be a tunnel dug out through the roof of your house, and they'd be there mining a cloud or whatever it is.
I'm saying A with these guys.
Yeah, I think these would be better than
Alright,
the Fire
yeah.
Slayers because they're clothed, so that instantly gives them more points.
Definitely works in my favour.
Less of that vibe.
Yeah, I think A is definitely fair.
Alrighty, so next we've got the Corn Bloodbound's Blood Reavers.
Yeah, that sounds like an easy D.
The name's already not doing it for me.
There's almost some sort of like uncanny valley type thing with some of these, right? Where we've chosen the literal demonic spawn of these guys as C tier. But we look at the slightly more human version, we're like, no, straight in the D tier. They can't be trusted.
See, the thing is with the demonic spawn, you kind of know that they've got a pretty good idea of things, haven't they? Like they'll be like,
but they're not good.
but like full well, if you ask them to babysit, they'll be like, this once, like I'll do it this once. Like these guys they've just come from pillaging one village to pillaging another village, So they all they do, they worship the gods. Where like the god, the spawn are a little bit higher up in the tier, a little bit godly. They're like, I get you. You're all right. We'll get you next week. Like
Are we saying like C for these then?
Or no.
No,
we're still saying D.
Surely.
D. These guys I wouldn't trust.
Okay. Next, we've got the Namati Reavers, who I think they're upsettingly sort of pale looking and are just a bit, I don't know, they're creepy.
They might have weapons on them, but I'm getting a.
Are these are vampires,
car.
aren't they? Are they vampires or are they dark elves?
I think they're the Ideneth Deepkin, so I think they're kind of subaquatic elves.
The house is going to stink of fish by the time you get back.
You'd be there
getting
like
a more peaceful vibe from them. I think they'd be all right babysitters.
Yeah, but they're the kind of ones who bring their own sardine sandwiches to eat, and you're just
they fly in on the sardines.
Everything stinks of kippers afterwards.
Yeah, they got a jar of pickles as well. Like you're just like, really? They're like, I bring my own lunch. Eh? Eastern, maybe Eastern Bloc 5,
B max.
I'd say B, yeah.
I think they're not. I feel like they probably wouldn't immediately kill your family, so that's that's better than quite a lot.
I love where the level of judgment we're going here is like if they're straight into mid tier if they're not immediately going to kill everyone.
I'll think about it first.
I mean, they've just got to survive 4 hours. Oh my god!
Talking about immediately killing everyone.
It's Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Everyone knows that the friendly ghosts are the ones that hold scythes.
See, now this could go two ways of it. Firstly, they could just kill the whole family, or secondly, they'll be taking the kids on an adventure. We're going to go collect some bodies tonight. It's like, way adventure, road trip.
See, I don't think they're going to be D, but I don't see how you can put them much higher than C.
I don't even know what they could do.
Are they more or less dangerous than a half-naked dwarf at this point?
Well, in terms of clothes, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did we put the half-naked dwarves in C?
No, they're B tier.
B.
B tier, yeah. No, these guys are more dangerous than half-naked dwarves.
C tier, we reckon?
C tier, yeah.
I think that's fair.
All right. So this will be unfortunate. This is purely, I think, based on the alphabetical ordering of these things. A lot of the undead stuff has been left until this point, so there's probably going to be a few unfortunate options here. Although I must admit, as far as the undead go, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers they're fairly sort of ordered, aren't they? I feel as though maybe they'd be a little bit better than most other undead choices.
I think they might actually be quite good because I feel like if they're told you're going there to babysit, this is your purpose, and you will listen to me because I'm in charge, they might go, all right then.
Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
Oh, I'll leave it at that then. All right then, I'll babysit. Boring.
I'd be tempted with a B or an A on them.
Yeah, I'm not feeling D or C.
I don't think you can have...
Maybe low B?
Yeah, I don't think we could put them in A.
A's a bit too safe, isn't it? There's still
A really is for the sort of good, the sort of forces of good, isn't it?
A tier, I think, has been reserved so far for things where we are fairly certain that the family would still be alive when you
It might be all right the next morning.
Okay, also Bone Reapers going into low B tier, so... Next, Pink Horrors.
S all the way. I mean, they keep the same vibe as the children, just absolute lunatics. Like, my God, no! Like these guys are right down in D. Like,
That is horrendous.
look at the beak on that. It literally would bite your arm off.
I would purge that with fire as soon as it came anywhere near the front door.
It's straight into D for me.
D tier.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It occurs to me, actually, I don't think that I've got the plague bearers on this list to round out the 4 demonic gods. I think I may not have included the plague bearers. So I went through the
I
list.
I feel like that's probably a fairly
It's a
easy
default
answer,
D,
though,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, probably not going to be too high up the list.
Right,
Right,
that's like getting your weird uncle.
Never mind. I thought I'd forgotten them, but here they are.
Oh, it's my weird uncle Gwen.
Right. Well, here we go.
Simple.
Just like, can you keep your intestines inside your body this time, please? Like, I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Also, this cheeky chappie who'd be with,
Maybe put him to sea because he might get along well with the kids. Stylish himself. So, there's an element there.
Assassin.
Well, after he's partially absorbed them into his genitals.
Sassy
Yeah, but they might have a good laugh though.
Right. Next, we've got the Seraphon Saurus Warriors, which since I bought some of these, they've released some new models for them, and I think they look fucking ace now. Actually,
They do look
I
good.
think if you fed them before you left, I think you could probably go with a solid A.
I feel
I
like
agree.
canonically these are good guys, aren't they? They are.
Yeah.
They're good guys, and they are. I think if you were, don't know how I wanted to say it now.
I wouldn't want to piss them off.
No, but I think they'd be good bodyguards.
Well,
I think if they're told to look after kids, they would be good bodyguards. I think.
I think you're right.
So I think I'm thinking high A. Like I think these guys would be good bodyguards.
I wasn't going to be that
They're
generous. I mean, they are still basically dinosaurs with swords.
I mean, they're basically Aztec Avatar, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go A. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's.
You reckon with the A? Yeah, okay. In the same vein, we've got the Skinks, who
Skinks.
I don't know if these are new models, but if they are, they don't look like they are. They still look. Yeah, they don't look as good as the Saurus. I don't think they might be new, but I don't know.
No. And for that reason alone, they're going into C.
Just to turn up on the door, you don't look new.
I definitely think you. I mean, you definitely can't put them in A tier because they're going to be less calculated than the other guys. So I think these have to like default be a bit lower.
I mean, are we not concerned that these guys are walking around naked either? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if they've got.
Yeah.
What,
I was
they
about
got
to
any,
say, I
I don't
can't
think
see
they've got any
anything.
bits, have they? So I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
I think a C. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, although we're then putting them on the same tier as Bloodletters. They feel better than Bloodletters. So.
They are
They've
better
got
than
to be
Bloodletters,
three.
and they're
Yeah,
better.
I think so.
Yeah, they're better than Ghosts with Sides.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's a B then.
The only other entertaining bit, I suppose, would be if they turned up, outfitted precisely like this, or with their other equipment, which I think is a toxic dart blowpipe, which could be them.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Whoops.
Okay, so next we have the Soul Blight Gravelord skeletons. They look like a bit of a ragtag bunch, don't they?
I personally put these in D tier.
Really? Strong.
I think these are. Oh man, the other ones are evil skeletons as well. Oh, I don't know. This is a difficult one.
Are the Soul Blight Gravelords? I mean, I don't know if people know the fluff that
These are
surrounds
the
them.
these are the vampire slaves,
counts.
aren't they?
Yeah, the vampire counts.
Yeah.
Are they like
Yeah, but
commanded by them, or are they just kind of wild?
You'd probably find that they've nicked your kids to go and feed them to their vampire overlord.
Or hear me out. They're very experienced in looking after the vampire children, so they'd be absolutely fine looking after your children because vampires need their children looked after. So they're quite experienced at the whole babysitting situation here.
I mean,
In my head, I'm taking this far too seriously.
I'm locked in.
I mean, vampires are kind of immortal, aren't they? So how long are vampires children for? Are they children for like hundreds of years as well? Like these guys would be very well experienced if that's true.
No, like
Or they could be absolutely miserable from it. From looking after, from doing like 1,000 years of babysitting the same 5-year-old kids.
I feel like these have got to go higher up the list, though, as in like maybe a B.
I could just imagine like you got the entire army. You got Barry in the back who's babysitting. He's just like, please kill me. I cannot do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
Immortal. Yeah.
I mean, they look. Yeah, I think C. On the basis that they might not directly want to do them harm, but the vampire will be like, oh yeah, I'll have that one. That looks tasty. Bring me back a snack on your way.
Okay, so next we've got some Vindicators from the Stormcast Eternals.
I think S tier. I think they've got to be S tier.
See, I would put them below the Fusiliers.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
A Stormcast are cold, man.
Yeah, but then again,
they'd be like, what happened? You're like, well, I was holding the baby, and then the toaster set alight. So I threw the baby to fix the toaster.
At the toaster. Technology and me don't go too well.
But then again, I also feel like if they're told to look after, like, if their lord is telling them your one sole purpose is to protect these children and make sure they go to sleep, they would do a stand-up job, like, straight away.
Yeah, but they're only babysitting on a weekend. We're only giving them a tenner.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe one might get lifted across the room then.
They get a tenner and what's left in the fridge as well, like, you know.
Like, what happened? The TV wouldn't turn down, so I threw the child out.
When they're summoned,
it was either that, or it was going to wake up the other children. So, based on numbers, two out of 3 of your children survived.
I completely forgot that they don't regenerate like I do. So, oopsie. I think a low A.
I think if memory serves correctly, these guys travel by lightning bolt as well. So, they're like, I just tried to pop down the shop with the kids, and I'm afraid they didn't
got them anymore.
Here's a pile of ash. I'd say low A.
Okay, let's see what we got next. Oh, the Sylvaneth Dryads.
Ooh.
Which... I
don't know.
I think these have got to be high.
Yeah, I feel like they would be high, but the models look quite fearsome, don't they? But maybe that's just because they got their war faces on.
But I feel like
I'm thinking like Treebeard, like mini Treebeards.
I mean, the thing is,
or Groots.
I mean, they're pulling the faces of like when you piss your mum off, like, so that those kids are not going to be messing around at all, like,
Yeah.
But on the flip of it, like you said, like Treebeard, a bit,
It's all fun and games until you squeeze the toothpaste in the middle.
See, I think it could be a real roll of the dice as well, because like there's this one here who's peacefully got like a little owl nestling in its branches, and there's one here who's severed the spinal column of one of his enemies and mounted it into like. It's like,
yeah, but what you don't know is actually that's like the mobile. It just dangles and just spins around on top of the crib just to send the baby to sleep, like, or it's just there's a couple of stones in there. They shake for the rattle, like.
I think they've got to be A. I think it's the question of what we're saying.
I'd say a solid A, not more than the Fusiliers.
Ben's like, the Fusiliers have already got my money.
I mean, we've only got 2 left, so nothing's made S tier yet.
I've got to go. There's 2 just turned up at the door.
I feel like Ben's got a soft spot for Fusiliers.
Oh, it's Sharp. Years of watching Sharp.
Here we go. So the next one are the Venari Sentinels, and they are from the faction that I've forgotten the name of, the Cowhead Elves. That I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I feel like these have got to be high as well. The elves, like
I mean, these are elves. They're clean. They're tidy. They've got their bows and stuff. But
Is it the first S?
I'm thinking it might be.
yeah, I am thinking
think,
it
yeah.
too. 100%. These guys,
You've
was
got
that
to have at
called?
least one in
It's
there.
the Realm Lords, isn't
That's it. The
Yeah,
Lumineth.
that's it.
Yeah.
they have got their shit together. They have these guys. So
it?
yeah,
They look nice. They look clean.
Well, there we
Yeah,
go.
all right.
Two left, and Lumineth take their first spot in
We
S
have
tier.
an S.
And you know what we've got last?
Oh,
The Witch Elves.
if they haven't sacrificed a child, they are S.
And if you lose a couple, you just make more.
Oh, God.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, I think they've come with the right outfits. They're dressed appropriately. It's an A. Yeah, it's A all the way.
I'm not going to fight Ben for that. I'm going to let him have it. I think he's very set on his ways there.
Not, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're no Fusiliers, but
You like a man in armor, don't you, Ben?
I'm thinking somewhere either A or B would, I think, be my kind of.
What do you mean?
What?
Why are you even? Hold on. Sorry.
Got a problem here.
I've just got. I just need to understand the reasoning behind the demotion from A. I mean, I was considering S. I'm not going to lie, and I've scaled it back for you guys.
Scaled it back for us. These would literally slaughter the child and sleep and bathe in its blood,
Yeah,
The only reason we're
did you
putting
see
them
what
in
they're
A is-
wearing, Steve?
or what they're not wearing.
Okay, this is another prime example of the babysitter the dad ordered.
Yeah.
This is the double standard that we could do without. Look at those fire slayers; they are equally as scantily clad. We've put them in the
Yeah,
B tier.
good point.
I mean,
Fair. All right, I'll take you on that one. Fine. S.
See? That's weird because I'm looking at that going, I'm happy with that. Oh, Steve is dying.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's particularly high resolution if I zoom it in. You can kind of, you can sort of. Make
Yeah, no,
them
you
out.
can see it. You can see it.
So yeah, there we go. We've ended up with some Lumineth in S tier, and I don't know if rearranging these. It's weird. You can rearrange some of them, but not the first one.
Can you only do it by one at a time? Can you only do one spot?
I don't know because I can't click this one, for example.
Press the little cog. Will that let you?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to do.
There's actually nothing
much
on
of
there.
anything. Yeah. That does something, but.
Can you imagine? You
Let's
just
add rows above and below. Look at that. See,
Delete it all.
if I'd spent more than 38 seconds throwing this all together, I could have made it great.
That's fine. I think we know.
So I
Daughters
think
of Cain in number 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That didn't happen. So we've got our Lumineth Realm Lords right at the top. I reckon. I mean, if we come away from this with a thing that is like, what is the one we would like to the most? I think probably the Lumineth Realm Lords, apart from Ben. And then for the D tier, out of these, who are the worst? Are we saying like the Flesh Eater Courts?
That's a difficult one. I think the Flesh Eater Courts or the Plague Bearers, to be honest.
Yeah, they're both not great options.
I mean, the thing is, the flesh eater would eat and leave. The plague bearers would eat and leave a mess. So I think just by that alone, the plague bearers would be the worst for me. It would just literally smell like the local tip in your own house, and you just be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely grim. Well, there we have it. What I might do, if depending on what we have,
Fusiliers coming in a close second. Just good quality lads, great lads.
Good work.
You on commission?
And
for
if
the
you're-
Fusilier babysitting company, Ben.
and if you're really in a pinch, Daughters of Cain. There you go.
or you want a pinch.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got elves first. Obviously, then the Fusiliers, lads, and then your other backup options are clothed dwarves with clothes,
Lizard men.
Without clothes.
Stormcast.
the cold calculating Stormcast,
and then some
or some
triads.
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all pretty. You would take all of them. You quite happy.
So you'd
to...
still go out, but you'd be a bit nervous.
Yeah.
The B tier. I think if you're leaving your kids with the B tier,
I mean,
you should question whether you need to go. Maybe one of you goes. Still, enjoys the night, but
let's name these. So we'll go like happy to go out. I don't know whether I can just if I close that. There we go. Happy to go out. Yeah. We want a bit nervous.
I'll check in every couple of hours by text.
B, you stay behind, darling.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
One of us stay behind.
Or just a nanny cam.
Nanny cam.
Is this a good idea? This was your idea.
Do we need to go to Dave's leaving party?
Yeah.
Do we need to go to your mum's funeral?
C tier. Should you have had kids? I think if you're considering it.
Do we even go?
D is like why?
I think if you've even text any of the D list, you're already dead. Yeah, family is dead.
I've accidentally renamed this one, haven't I? That should be that. Oh, hang on a minute. Let me get that one. So this one should be
a nice cold pint and wait for this to blow over.
There we go.
Oh dear.
Oh. So there we have it.
This is what divides this podcast with others. The only other tier lists you see.
I like how the colours have
podcast.
gone as well. That family is dead is green.
Oh dear.
Maybe I should change that.
So no,
yeah.
So we're gonna in the description below, and we're gonna have a comprehensive list of all of this. We're gonna have it all there, so you guys can review. And obviously, we will disregard any of your comments that you leave in there because you are incorrect and we are correct. You weren't the ones discussing it, so that's on you.
If you were looking for a meta list, I can only apologise for wasting your time.
What I would say as well, actually, is that Third Space accepts absolutely no liability for damage to you or your family or your house for using any of these as recommendations.
So no, I think that. I mean, I've absolutely enjoyed this. I've loved this every moment of this. Like these are the questions that need to be asked in this community. Like we are.
You don't need to know the meta. That's not important.
We are the ones asking these questions and answering them for you guys. So we are doing the work of. I was going to say God's work, but is it?
I mean,
I want
the Chaos Gods work for quite a few of these factions.
Yeah.
I want someone like Trump's take on it. Like I've seen the list; it's beautiful. It's a beautiful list.
It's a great list, but I think we should change a few bits.
Elon Musk comes in, sacks 90% of it.
Yeah. Woo!
You'd just be left with the plague bearers. Only because Musk was like, "Oh, they smell too much." That's it. So no, there we have it. There is that. So, as we coming to the end of the podcast, one of the things that we started last time, we getting some listeners' questions in, and one of the listeners' questions that we've had for us guys, from Bob R, is asking, "What is your favourite game and the whole Games Workshop systems? So, what is your favourite game out of all of the Games Workshop games out there?" So, starting with, I'll go alphabetically. Ben.
I had to think then when you said that alphabetically. I was like, "Oh, is that going to be me?" Well, I mean, it's probably 40k at the moment, but just because I've played the most of it. But I am properly excited about giving Sigmar a go, and I've long been avoiding Sigmar.
No.
But after sort of like finding just a couple of boxes of the Warhorde of Eternus just lying around.
As you do,
Yeah.
like as everyone does.
And like the models are really big. It's all really big. So I'm like, oh, this is fun, and I really enjoyed painting some of it up, and I've really enjoyed building it. So I've brought the core book back with me tonight, so I can have a little read of the rules. So yeah, 40k is probably the favourite. I mean, Middle Earth will always have a special place, but it's just not got quite the same level of support. 40k is it ticks all the boxes. Great minis, fun to build, fun to paint. Love playing the game. The lore's awesome. Sanguinius. Although actually, he's not really there, is he? The memory of Sanguinius.
Yeah.
This is where Josh is like, yeah, but he was there in Heresy.
Bring back Sanguinius.
And then also, I can't wait for Aeronautica when we can all give that a go. Because I've got the flying jacket's ready. I'm going to get a flying cap as well. I want us all dressed up for it.
I'm going Top Gun. I'm going white suit. I am I'm going.
So Steve's going dinner jacket. I'm going to go flight jacket. Josh, what are you going to be dressed up as?
Well, I mean, I've got orcs, so what would be appropriate orky attire?
You just have to paint your whole body green and turn up naked.
A pair of those really big goggles, I think.
Yeah, goggles, some big pants, and nothing else, and just paint it green.
So a standard Saturday night for Josh then.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Josh, your favourite game system in the whole of the Games Workshop system games? I like it.
Oh, my favourite system. It's an interesting question. I think Ben's expecting me to say the Horus Heresy. I mean, Heresy is probably the system. I mean, certainly it's the system I'm most invested in. I've got the most stuff for Horus Heresy. The Titans, as I was mentioning earlier, mainly are for Heresy. Sadly, they are terrible in 40k at the moment. They're not much better in Heresy, but they're at least usable. Although, in terms of games that I've played the most, the game I played the most, funnily enough, was Age of Sigmar, but that was a while back now. That was, I think, second edition of the game. So I'm really interested to see. Ben, you have to let me know how you get on with the new rule book and everything, because I'm intrigued to see what they've done with it and maybe have a bit more.
Josh, what will happen is I'll read the lore, get bored, and then come to you and be like, so if you can read the rules and explain the rules to me, that'd be great.
Got it. Yeah. I can do that. I've got So for that, I've got an army of Caradron overlords and an army of I think it's the Blades of Khorne as well. So yeah, I've got kind of two factions for that. One which is a stabby and one that's a shooty. So I've got a bit of a variety. But yeah. I've also, as we said earlier, not played it at all yet, but really interested to see how Aeronautica Imperialis plays. Mm-hmm. Dying to get my hands on one of their mega bombers as well, because they're absolutely massive and ridiculous looking. But
yes,
straight for the rarest, most expensive one. You're like, I need that. I need it. I need it.
Yeah.
There's no rules for it. I need it.
Oh, there are rules for it.
And then Seb, so what is your favourite game system out there?
I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually played that much. I've only been in the hobby, about a year now, but it's definitely Age of Sigmar for me. I started with the latest edition of it, to be fair, so I haven't played it before then. And it's just, someone who's pretty much a complete newbie, it's so easy to pick up. You get the spearhead board, you get 2 spearheads, so instead of spending a huge amounts of, I mean, it's still a lot of money, but instead of needing to have a 2,000 point army, you've got an army literally in a box. You can learn the rules really easily. I think I've had about 5 or 6 spearhead games now, and I knew the rules pretty much inside and out by the time I played the second game. Mm-hmm. It's super easy. So I think Age of Sigmar for me, and I think as well as that, I think the models are just fantastic. I personally think if you're going to compare new releases with 40k and Age of Sigmar, I personally think Age of Sigmar is on top at the moment. I mean, if you're looking at later, more recent models like Asheran for the Flesh Eater Courts and stuff like that, and there's some new models coming out for the Soulblight Grave Lords. Yeah, he's always sounds interesting.
He's just
I'm sold. Yeah.
Looks like a Dark Souls boss on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also you've got some amazing like vampire lords on like dragons coming out for the Soulblight Grave Lords as well. So I just think Sigmar for me, and I think once I've done my Custodes, I'll probably be playing Sigmar almost exclusively and just making up as much Skaven as I possibly can because I think they're fantastic.
Because they're fantastic babysitters.
I'm just ordering the Daughters of Cain now. I tell you what, looking at like you said, like all the models and stuff, I've gone Slaves of Darkness because I like that, like Conan the Barbarian.
Viking.
So who's the bad guy in Conan the Barbarian? Is it Thusula, who's played by James L. Jones? And all of this like guys are like fur cloaks, big helmets, big over the top armor, and I love that kind of like dark night vibe thing they've got going on.
Look,
yeah, sort of like over the top 80s sci-fi barbarian sort of vibe. But they've got a really cool. Is it Belial or Bellical?
Is it Belial?
Is it Belial?
It's
one of that.
There's Be'lakor.
Be'lakor, that's the one, the Dark Master.
Belial's Dark Angel.
And I'm not a like normally a demon-y fan, but then I made the mistake of listening to some of the lore.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I've got to have it. I need it now.
The Archeon model as well is incredible.
It does look so cool.
Yeah, have you seen the Archeon model?
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. I think a lot of people have complained a bit with that one though, because I think he's about 800 points.
Yes, I was amazed at the points on it.
Yeah, he's 800 points. So you're playing a 2,000 point game. That's almost half of your army, and you know full well that everyone is going to target him straight away, because if he gets in close, you are absolutely screwed.
I think model-wise, I prefer the Abraxia, the Spear of the Everchosen.
Yeah, Abraxia's cool. Abraxia's really cool.
That's a really cool looking mini. So I think I'd probably, just on rule of cool, go Abraxia over Archeon. But yeah, Be'lakor just looks. I'm like, oh man, that does look really cool.
It looks like, I think you could do it wouldn't be a too of a complex paint scheme on that either.
No, I mean it's
black with like a grey dry brush or something.
Yeah, I've seen some artwork of it where I don't know what is it, he, she, I don't know what the Demon Prince goes by, but with like a hint of red as well, so real dark, but with a hint of red. So a bit of like red contrast over some black or something like that would be really interesting. So I might. And I did originally when I did the Warhorde of Eternus, I did the Eternus model, but as just the Chaos Lord on demonic mount. And now that I've done the lore, I'm like, Eternus is cool. So now I need a second Eternus, so I can actually build him as Eternus now, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and you've got the like the Beast Men as well, haven't you? The Minotaurs, they're bloody cool as well.
The hemorrhoids.
Yeah, them ones. They're not as cool, but yeah.
Again, I was first time round buying that box because I was buying it originally for a Old Worlds Chaos Army.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of gone away from that now. So I wasn't that interested in the Ogroids. And then I've opened them up and I'm like, these look really cool, really fun to put together. I really, really enjoyed painting them as well. So I'm like, all this sort of like, normally I'm a fairly sort of like vanilla person with this sort of like, no, I just want Chaos Knights and that's it. And now I've seen the other stuff. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
The Dark Oath stuff's quite cool as well. I like this from the Dark Oath stuff.
What the Warrior Queen?
Yeah, and
there's Xena vibes.
Xena vibes, yeah, for sure.
You got the Daughters of Cain, so just leave some for the rest.
I might just get a spearhead just for research purposes.
Just leave some for the rest of us, okay? Just leave some for the rest of us.
Sorry.
Okay? So, well, I'm going to get in now mine because obviously we talk about favorite game systems, and you guys were just smashing the helmet.
Sorry,
smashing the helmet there for one. So no, I'm completely different. My favorite game system at the present moment is Blood Bowl. I just love the game. It's one of those. I've got 5 teams painted. It's really quick to get into, really quick to learn the rules. It's just silly, and it's fun, and it just works. I'm really keen with Aeronautica, and plus also I would really want to do Necromunda. If I can get anyone to do any of it with me, because I love the idea of campaign and progression and stuff. But that's that. I feel like I'm just complete down on it. Like you guys are like, Sigma, so much fun, and then like, oh, shut up, Steve. Like, you know.
Well, I'll just have a look at the Blood Bowl teams because I've got the human one, but I'm kind of, I don't know, it was okay, but I'm looking at.
That's why I put biscuits on them, like, you know.
I feel like
do they have a Daughters of Cain Blood Bowl team?
No, you got Dark Elves, and then you got Amazons as well. So you got the Amazons. They're quite nice.
I feel like Blood Bowl is the sort of system I would need to play first before I go, let's buy models for it, which obviously that's not how it works. You borrow someone else's or whatever. But I think it's the sort of game system I need to play first to see if I liked it.
It's to me, Blood Bowl is just it's completely different, you know, and it's just completely silly. If you were looking to get into Blood Bowl, I think you got to play it on the tabletop first before playing it on the Xbox PS or whatever.
The janky Xbox PC game.
I've not enjoyed playing those games. The thing is, the fun of that game in itself is playing it with someone, you know, and playing against someone. And also, you know, I've only experienced those tournaments in the community, and everyone in the Blood Bowl community are just fantastic. They're just good fun because at the end of the day, they know how stupid this game is, you know. So it's just a good fun game, like, you know. So that's why I like it. We've got so just giving a roundup of things that's happening at the present moment as well, guys. So obviously we've got the Imperial Rerolls, which is our beginner 40k tournament team. We are going to the Bristol Grand Tournament in June. We've gained another person since our last podcast, which is great. So I think we're up to about 14 people in the team now.
Nice.
You don't need, there's nothing special. We are pretty much fighting for the wooden spoon here. We're not fighting to win. We're just fighting to have a good time, like, you know. So, you know, if you're interested, if you're new into 40k and you want to go to a tournament, well, there's a bunch of us who's never been to one before. We're all going. So just drop a comment below, follow either Seb, myself, Ben on our channels, and drop us a message and we'll get you involved in that. Also, other things, Ben, massive things happening with you and the Jedi Archives. Can we announce it now? For the love of God, I've been putting work in.
Yeah. It's all that. It's out there now. It's out there now. Yeah.
So Ben, the Jedi Archive in Dorchester, the shop is being moved to new premises, and it's a bigger space we've got going on up there. More focused at gaming, more focused at painting, and more focused at the community. Am I right in saying all of that, Ben?
Yeah. So we've got more space for the community, more space for gaming. Going to do some cool stuff with that and create hopefully a really nice social hub as well, combined with all the other stuff that we already do. So it's going to be a cool place. It's just going to be a busy few weeks getting it all together, because why not pile the pressure on and set yourself an unrealistic opening date?
100%, 100%. And the only other thing to shout out about is also we've got the International Guild of Hobbyists Army. So with Jedi Archives, they sponsored all these models. We're painting a detachment of Space Marines, which is going to get raffled off. We're taking them up to Warhammer World at the beginning of April, and I'm actually taking that army as my army for the Bristol Grand Tournament. So I'm taking the army that will get raffled off. They will have been blooded in the battlefield. I will take all the losses out of them. So if you were to raffle and try and win that army, I can guarantee they will never lose another game because I would have taken all their losses. So, you know, but yeah, so that's everything, unless you guys have got anything else to add to it. We're still here.
I think so.
Everyone's just like, podcast ended. So no. Oh no! Anyhow, guys, thanks for listening. If you got this far, obviously, please subscribe, follow, all those fun things. If you've got any comments about what's going on, or please also we need your comments for the next podcast. So if you got any questions or anything that you want us to talk about in particular, please let us know below. We are a bunch of guys who have very little experience in many things, and we just throw it together and see how it goes. Like, you know, so I think I enjoyed myself tonight, guys. Thank you so much for all coming on with us, and hopefully catch you guys in a fortnight's time.
Happy painting.
Happy painting. Bye.
See ya.
Bring back Sanguinius.
Yeah. Sanguinius.